Test.
Woman to safety after she fell in.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM.
Monday movies on Wycombe Sound.
Why does she never do it when I want her to?
I
Come
know.
on, come on, love. You can do this.
Monday movies
There it is.
on Wycombe
Thank you.
Sound
There we go.
106.6 FM.
I knew we should have paid her on time. Good evening. This is Duncan Strip here with my usual trusty companions, Luke Davis and Toby Stubbs, for another hour of film news and reviews that we like to call Monday Movies. We're midway through Lockdown 2, Electric Boogaloo. Cinemas are closed, so we will, as usual, be concentrating on TV and streaming content, which this week will include The Mandalorian, Ratchet, Spongebob SquarePants, The Crown, and The Fall. You can join in by messaging us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube, and you can watch us live in glorious Technicolor by going to the Wycombe Sound Facebook or YouTube page. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
How are we enjoying the sequel to Lockdown?
Oh, it's great. Is this our first week since lockdown? Oh, it is, because we weren't here last week.
Yeah, we didn't
were
do last week. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
our first week in
You were-
Lockdown 2.
You were virtually in America.
Yeah, I was virtually in America,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
It's like a movie, isn't it? The sequel is never as good as the original.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's
Do
not
I
quite as
look
good.
really blue this week?
Yes, you do.
I feel like for some reason, there's a weird blue. I don't know what's going
Tint.
on. I've got a blue tint.
You do look like you've got an Instagram filter on you, yes.
I do, yeah. I'll swipe
And not
it.
not one of the good ones.
Not one of the good
Or
ones. No.
neon under the cars back in the early 2000s.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Neon under the what?
Cars.
You know the neon lights they had under the car. If you souped up a car.
Can't
what
say
I'm talking
I've ever
about?
souped up a car.
No, not I.
Have you ever had soup in a car? Is this something
Of course I have
different?
soup everywhere.
It's pretty good.
Love soup in a car, yeah. It is, yeah. Anyway, so are we both good, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. We're both good.
All good here.
All good here.
Excellent. Did you have a good show without me last week?
Yeah, we didn't do one, so it was good.
So it's better than usual.
Better than normal, yeah.
Excellent stuff. We've got a lot to get through this week. I say we've got reviews
Okay.
of lots of things. Maddie has also done us a review of the Queen's Gambit.
Nice.
I haven't listened to it, and I have watched all of the Queen's Gambit, so it'll be interesting to see what she thinks. Toby, you've been watching, what did you watch? 50-50 and Game Night?
50-50 and game night. I've game night again. I've watched it once already.
Yeah, that's great. Don't you bother watching anything new. You watch something that you've already reviewed for us. That's the
You
way
are
to do it.
asking for that, Toby.
And also, I've also been watching Long Way Up on Apple TV Plus, which is the new travel documentary with Ewan McGregor and Charlie Boorman. There you go. So lots to
There you
go.
go.
And we've actually got a chart with some relevance this week, have we not, Mr. Davis? Because it is a joint streaming / DVD chart.
It's
So
a,
it's the
I've,
top 10.
it's a new chart for us again.
It is.
Another
So
one.
because there's no cinemas open, so
No.
there's no theatrical top 10. So we're going to do the streaming and DVD combined chart.
Shall we start at number 10?
Why wouldn't we?
Well, that's a fair point. This week's number 10, Scoop.
I've not seen it, but did this have a theatrical release? No, it was supposed to, wasn't it? This was
Yeah.
at the start of lockdown, I think.
Meant to, yeah.
And went straight to streaming. So it's a big screen animated version of Scooby-Doo with voice cast that includes Jason Isaacs. But I've not seen it.
It had fairly positive reviews, I think.
Did it?
I think so.
But the only review show that counts is Monday Movies.
And we've not seen it.
No, so
No.
the jury is in fact out.
This week's number 9, Hocus Pocus from 1993.
Yeah, which stars Bette Midler. It's a Halloween movie, comedy. I think it's got some music in it as well.
It's Disney, probably.
Yeah, probably. And this is actually done better than the re-release of The Empire Strikes Back.
Wow.
Apparently, this is the most successful theatrical re-release this year.
Oh, I saw. Yeah, which
Do you
is
see what I mean? Because it was released theatrically
Yeah.
in between Lockdown 1 and Lockdown 2 Electric Boogaloo, and now it's been released on streaming. So yeah, it's the most successful back catalogue release of the year.
I don't think I've
you go.
only seen it once, and I can't really remember it.
Oh well, it's on Disney Plus.
I just have to watch it.
If you want to watch
Yeah.
it, yeah, it's. I think I only watched it when it came out back in
93.
Was it?
I said it.
1993.
Yep.
Were you? You weren't born, were you?
Wasn't born, no.
I was born the year after.
Yeah, neither of us were born.
Okay. Oh, crikey. Move on because it's depressing.
This week's number 8, The Invisible Man, Extended Edition.
Ooh, so it's a special edition of The Invisible Man. This was probably the
Is
last
that
big film that was released.
Invisible Man?
This was the last. That reminds me, actually, a couple of weeks ago, I accidentally swallowed a whole bottle of invisible ink.
Did you?
Yeah, I had to rush to the hospital and wait to be seen. Anyway, the thank you very much.
Don't.
This was the last big theatrical release before the first lockdown. Stars Elizabeth Moss in a reworking of the old Invisible Man story, where the Invisible Man isn't the main character, his ex-wife is, and it's very good. It's not scary. It's got some scary bits in it, but it's a very good story. It's from the writer-director of Upgrade, so that would recommend it to both of you.
Yes, because we liked it, didn't we?
Upgrade was a very well reviewed by us.
Yeah, it was.
This week's number 7, The Untouchables from 1987.
Crikey, that's going back, isn't it? So this is obviously there because Sean Connery passed away.
Yep.
This is one of his most famous roles. He stars alongside Kevin Costner and Robert De Niro. And it is the story of, I was going to say Al Capone.
Wrong one.
In Chicago. And Sean Connery plays an rugged Irish police chief. But obviously he plays him Scottish because
He
that's
plays
all
everything.
he could do.
Yeah, he played everything Scottish.
Yeah, he played everything Scottish.
Right.
It's a really good film. Have you seen it?
No.
No.
If you haven't seen it, you should. It is very, very good. It's
Okay.
directed by Brian De Palma.
Is it available anywhere?
I would imagine so. It's in the chart.
Didn't
Didn't get there by accident, young man.
Did you watch it recently?
No, I haven't. Again, this is another one I probably haven't watched since it came out back in 1987.
Wow.
Interestingly, I think it was Film 4 did 3
2.
Sean Connery films in a row on Sunday. And I recorded them all and I watched the first one. They did Robin and Marion, which is a kind of retelling of Robin Hood, and The Man Who Would Be King, which is the classic in which he stars with Michael Caine. But the first one they showed was The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which was his last film and the film which stopped him making any more films because he had such a bad experience.
Oh.
And I remember thinking it was terrible, but I thought, do you know what? 15 years have passed. It might not be as bad as I remember. Guess
What happened?
It was just terrible. And he had such a bad experience with the director and the screenwriter and the studio, and he vowed at the end of it that he would never make another film, and he never did.
Wow.
And
Kept to his word then.
And it is just as bad as I remember. It's a terrible, terrible film. So yeah.
Oh dear. Not good. This week's number 6, a favourite of mine, and I've had this song in my head for a very, very long time over the last couple of weeks, and that is Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Well, can you talk about it then? Because I've got a confession.
Please tell me you're not another person that I know that hasn't watched this.
I've never seen it. Now, I think this is on Disney Plus as well.
It is,
so
yeah. You need to watch it.
I will watch it. So tell me about The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Well, it's an animated musical fantasy set in a parallel world where different lands represent different holidays. Christmas, Halloween, Hanukkah, Valentine's Day. All of them. There's not all of them, but there's a few. The hero of the film is Jack Skellington. He is a man from Halloween who's become converted to Christmas and sets out to spread joy in the world. However, when Jack's new mission leads him to kidnap Santa, it becomes clear that it's not really in tune with the Yuletide spirit.
Okay, so tell me why I should watch it.
Because it's great. Got great music in it. The opening is brilliant. And it's a classic Disney. If you like Tim Burton films, you'll like it. It's a very Tim Burton-y film. It's a bit creepy, but not overly creepy, obviously, because it's Disney. But
is it creepy and it's kooky?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's the Addams Family. Yeah, it's really, really good. I loved it. It's on my list to watch again.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great. Great film.
I will watch it for next week then.
Please do.
Because I can't believe I haven't seen it.
I can't believe you haven't seen it. How did it miss you?
I think it was released during my drinking phase.
Right.
Back in the
whenever that was, beginning of 2000. When did it end?
There was a long chunk of time when I went to the cinema very rarely.
Right. Okay.
So I think that might have hit just bang centre of that.
I don't.
Tobi, have you seen it?
Do you know what? I have, but when it first came out, I literally cannot remember it.
1993. 1993 is doing great in the charts.
Right. Right. So it came out before I was born. Yeah, so I must have seen it.
All right, if one of you says that again, I'm going to leave the room because I don't want to know.
Duncan, it was before I was born.
Yeah.
And actually, another reason why it's a sort of a fan favourite, and Duncan, this will probably mean nothing to you. It might mean nothing to Tobi as well. But it was also one of the sets or one of the scenes in the Kingdom Hearts games as well. Quite a big chunk of it as well. So that's why it's a bit of a fan favourite.
That means nothing
exactly.
to me.
That's why I warned it.
Right, do you know what? I'm going to write it down on my homework list.
Please do.
Because let me just say, I've been catching up on the podcasts. I'm a little bit behind.
How rude.
By the way, episode 18 of Monday Movies.
It's a good one.
It was a good one.
Have you watched any of the We'll save the podcast. No, you should watch it back.
No.
They're very good, very well produced.
There was less of me, which I quite liked in episode 18. There was more of you two. That's why I liked it more. Right. But there's lots of things we keep saying, oh, yeah, we'll do that. We'll watch that. And the next episode, we haven't.
No.
So I will watch The Nightmare Before Christmas for next week.
This week's number 5, Disney, once again, doing very well, Onward.
Oh, you again, then?
Me again. Onward is it's a good film because it's sort of a tale on our world, but with the slight difference. So it's fantasy that then gets taken over by technology. And it stars Chris Pratt and Tom Holland, who embark on a mission to see if there's a little bit magic left out in the world.
Please let there be.
Basically, what happens is their dad passes away when they are both younger. But he leaves him them a magic wand and a spell to bring him back for a day, but they only bring back half of his body. It's a lot more positive than that. Though.
It is. Yeah. It's very good. It's very entertaining. You'll have a tear in your eye at the end.
Yeah, no, you will. And that's not without spoiling it. It has a nice ending because it's not the ending you expect.
Yeah, no,
you expect something to happen at the end, but it's not what you think.
Yes. That's Onward. You can buy it, but it is also available to stream for free on Disney+.
Disney+.
I always say stream for free on these things, but obviously you're paying.
Yeah, I know.
It's not actually free.
No.
Okay, yeah.
This week's number 4, V for Vendetta.
I've not seen this since it came out, I don't think. It's a film. When it was released...
It's a film, is it?
Yeah, it's a film. When it was released, it seemed like... some strange version of a future world that would never happen. But now, if you watch it now, it kind of is relevant to what's happening today. It's become more relevant the longer time's gone on. I can't actually remember the plot, but you should watch it. It's very, very good. It didn't get very good reviews when it came out.
Oh, so it stars Natalie Portman.
And I think people thought it was. It stars Natalie Portman, and Hugo Weaving.
Correct.
I think is in it as well. And I think at the time it just seemed a bit outlandish. And so far from the mark, but the more time has gone on, especially with what's happening in America at the moment, this seems ever more prescient.
This week's number 3, the better of the 2 films, Frozen 2.
Well, it's not Frozen, is it?
Well, it's better than Frozen, though.
No, it's not. No,
it is. It is better than Frozen.
It really isn't better than Frozen.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's perfectly serviceable. It's got some good tunes in it.
Yeah.
but it's not Frozen.
No, I think it is better.
Well, you're wrong, obviously.
Obviously.
But it's not.
Let it go. This week's number 2, a favourite of mine in the recent of these films. Probably my favourite one out of the most recent films.
Oh.
Controversially, Rogue One, a Star
Rogue
Wars
One.
story.
Yes, Toby, you've seen Rogue
Wow,
One?
why's that come back? I have. Do you know what? I really, really enjoyed this. I haven't actually seen it since it came out, but I remember I remember waiting the whole film to see if there was going to be a lot. I'm a big fan of lightsaber battles in the films, and there I was kind of waiting for one, but there wasn't any spoilers. But I just remember I didn't read much about this at all. I knew it was a spin-off, so I kind of had low expectations of this film. I thought it was entertaining. There was so much action. The story was great. I was hooked the whole way through, from what I can remember. I really, really love this film.
Yeah,
So-
I agree. It's different, but still had the same. Whereas Han Solo is completely different, but I like that as well. This is different, but set in a time that we all know. Duncan, say that you're.
Hey, guess what? We all agree.
Oh, there's a shock. Someone marked
loved
the
it as
time and
well.
date.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Really enjoyed it. Again, I think it's been re-released on DVD as a special edition, but it is available to watch on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yep.
And finally, from last Christmas, you gave me my heart. That's the plot.
Oh God, is that number one?
That's number
Is this
one.
the Amelia Clarke?
Yeah.
This is So this is Amelia Clarke, Henry Golding, written by Emma Thompson,
You loved this,
co-starring
didn't you, Duncan?
Emma
Did anyone
Thompson,
like it?
and based on the music of George Michael and Wham.
Wait.
It's terrible.
Yeah, not great.
It's number one.
But then I don't know if it's number one because at the moment this is possibly what everybody needs, a bit of romantic escapism.
Possibly.
I was going to say, I think everyone's in lockdown. I think they're just like, right, you know what? Christmas is not that far away, so let's just start watching Christmas films and Christmas music. And
Some people have got their Christmas lights up.
Yeah, exactly, idiots. The first two lines give away the plot. The first two lines of the song "Last Christmas." Last Christmas I gave you my heart. It's like a 2-hour film leading up to the corniest punchline that you've ever seen. It's got Emma Thompson doing the strangest European accent.
Yeah.
And didn't she write it as well?
And she wrote it as well, which is amazing because she's won an Oscar for screenwriting.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know it from watching this.
No.
It's dreadful. Have you seen it, Toby? Luke?
I'm pretty sure I saw it. Yeah.
Did you?
I think so. Yeah.
You don't go and see many films. I'm
it's
surprised you
funny,
forgot.
I think we watched it when it came out.
I think my mum was like, "Oh, do you want to go and see this film?" And then we had the show, and obviously you hated it. I said, "Nah, probably won't go anymore. Sorry."
Look at the effect you have, Duncan.
I know. I'm glad you're
It's
taking
your
notice.
fault that
taking
all
notice.
the cinemas are closed.
Okay, so that is top 10. We'll do another one of those, a streaming and DVD top 10 next week. But coming up, we've got reviews.
All right.
Sorry, a bit of tea went down the wrong way.
dear.
There. Coming up, we have got reviews of many things, but including The Mandalorian, Ratchet, SpongeBob SquarePants, and The Queen's Gambit.
Love music.
would we like to hear what Maddie's been watching?
Yes, please.
Yes.
She has been watching on Netflix The Queen's Gambit. I don't know what she thought of it, so it'll be interesting because I've watched the entire series as well. So this is Maddie's thoughts on The Queen's Gambit.
This is my review of The Queen's Gambit, which is a new miniseries on Netflix. I watched it recently, binge watched it because I found it completely addictive. I'll start with the kind of synopsis of the story. So it centres on a young girl called Beth Harmon. She's played by Anya Taylor-Joy, and she's orphaned when she's 9 years old, when her mother, who clearly is suffering from mental health issues, seems to deliberately crash their car and she dies. And Beth, luckily, walks away completely unscathed, and she's then an orphan, although her father is actually alive, but doesn't want anything to do with her. And she's sent to live at an orphanage called the Methuen School. And it's not horrible. It's not a very homely kind of experience. And in fact, the children, as apparently this is true, were made docile with daily doses of quite strong tranquilizers. And actually, Beth becomes addicted to those and finds ways of getting hold of more than her fair share, which she actually becomes addicted, and that addiction lasts on into her later life. Anyway, she starts learning to play chess because she comes across the school janitor in the basement. She's sent down to clean board rubbers, and she sees him playing chess and persuades him to teach her. And he's quite a sort of gruff character, but he can see that she is extremely talented, and you see from quite clever cinematography, she has an amazing capacity to play games in her head and to visualise the moves. And he recognises how very talented she is. He introduces her to the teacher who heads the local school chess club, and she's actually invited to go and play chess at that school. Anyway, moving on a bit, she becomes increasingly competitive. She is adopted when she's 15 by a couple, quite a dysfunctional couple. The mother, brilliant acting. The mother is desperate to have a child. They had a child, but the child died. The husband is I think he's a commercial salesman or something. He basically leaves the home and leaves it to Beth and the adoptive mother to live in. And the mother, when she realises that Beth can actually make some money through playing chess, she becomes quite supportive. I mean, she's not horrible to her at all, but she does have a drink problem, so she's not the most amazing caregiver, let's put it like that. And so then it moves on into her young adulthood. She starts to travel, well, first of all, the country, the whole of the United States, with her mother, going to more and more senior tournaments, and probably quite unrealistically, but she wins pretty much every match that she enters, although the tension builds. You're always thinking, will this be the one that she doesn't manage? And well, to be fair, she doesn't win every single match. And then, as her reputation, she becomes the US Open chess champion. Then, of course, she's invited to play abroad. She goes to play at a tournament in Paris and basically gets completely smashed the night before and makes a mess of it. But she then is invited to go to Russia and play in a champions tournament there. And it's always been the theme throughout the whole series has been that the ones to really beat are the Russians. It's not so difficult to be US Open chess champion, but it is incredibly difficult to beat the Russians because of the way that they play and how they're schooled from the age of about 4 years old and so on. And so the final episode is her playing a tournament against the world champion in Moscow. The settings are stunning. So it's set in the Cold War period. It's absolutely stunning. It looks beautiful. The clothes are absolutely gorgeous. Well, I mean, as a woman, I'm desperately envious. If I was young enough, those are the sort of clothes I'd be wearing. But it's beautifully styled, and I just think the whole thing. There are only, I think I'm right, only 6 episodes, so you're not kind of in it for the long haul like some of these are. So you can watch it in, let's say, a couple of, well, you can watch it as quickly or drag it or spread it out as long as you like. I watched it in about 2 or 3 sessions, I think, and absolutely loved it. Apparently not a true story, but nevertheless completely gripping and highly recommended.
Thank you, Maddie. That's Maddie's thoughts on The Queen's Gambit, which is available to watch now on Netflix. I've watched it all, and I really liked it as well. I don't think it's to all tastes. It's very slow and measured. There's no action in it particularly. If you're a chess fan, you're going to really like it. Yeah. But I found it.
You mean there's no exploding chess pieces?
There are no exploding chess pieces.
No massive human-sized chess pieces.
No, nothing. Yes, there are on ceilings during some of the scenes where she's visualizing what she's going to do. Giant chess sets appear upside down on a ceiling. But it's not to all tastes, but I thought it was fantastic. It's written and directed by Scott. I can't remember his second name now.
Well done, Scott.
He directed one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen, which was Snow Falling on Cedars. If you get a chance to watch that, Luke, 3 or 4 years of film and TV, you would appreciate Snow Falling on Cedars. It's an absolutely fantastic film. But yes, Queen's Gambit is well worth watching if you're into that kind of thing, but not to all tastes.
And what did you think?
Does it make you want to play chess?
It made me wish I understood how to play chess. Put it that way.
Right.
Because I've always been fascinated by how you pick. Because I can play chess, but I play one move at a time.
Yeah.
I've always been fascinated how they can visualize 8 moves ahead, so they know when they're going to put someone in check. That always fascinates me, and that's what this is about. It's very good.
Who did you think it was directed on by?
Scott
Inzoveth.
Franks.
Well done.
Thank you. There you go, Scott Franks.
And Alan Scott.
Yes, it's very good. So anyway, it's available on Netflix. Moving over to Disney Plus, The Mandalorian, which is dropping 1 episode a week. I think we've just had episode 3.
Yep.
It's every Friday. Very briefly, Luke, a quick précis. What is The Mandalorian?
So The Mandalorian is about... the Mandalorian is it's not a race. I don't know if religion is the right word. Cult. Would you say cult?
No.
What would you say? Group?
Yeah, like a following of...
A following. It's a following of people.
Like Jedi.
That would be such a good way of explaining it. Well done.
Yeah.
Who are in the main films? Boba Fett, Jango Fett are the Mandalorians. They're bounty hunters, and they are they're not all bounty hunters, but they go out and do different things. And this Mandalorian follows a Mandalorian who we don't have the actual name of. And it's his journey. Massive spoiler, but it was ruined by everyone that had Disney Plus first. Finds it's Baby Yoda, basically. And it's his. Everyone wants it, obviously, because they know how powerful Yoda is. And this is his journey of him returning back to his own Yoda returning back to his own kind, or the Baby Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
So it's set way before.
No. So it is set after episode 6.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So, Luke, what did you think of The Mandalorian?
First series, wasn't a big fan of. I got bored by the end of it. Second series, 3 episodes in, I'm really enjoying it. And there is a lot of references that I think you won't pick up on. That is why other people are excited by it.
But I will.
Because I'm a geek. But there's, especially in episode 3, that whole episode links into the Clone Wars TV series. And the...
Research.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I watched it. And I think that's why a lot of people are excited, but why you are not excited by it, I'm guessing.
Not the reason.
No.
No.
Okay.
So you're loving it.
I really am enjoying it. Yeah.
I'm liking it a bit.
Right.
Visually, I think it's fantastic. The special
visually it's
effects are
amazing.
really good.
Yeah.
I still fail to see why they put a famous actor as the Mandalorian when he's never going to take his helmet off.
I
That
think he
seems
will
completely
at
pointless.
some point.
Okay.
Probably
I
less
just
than so.
feel that me and two other people were talking about this last week. We're waiting for a story.
Right.
You know when you have a series of 10 episodes and there's always a couple of filler episodes where nothing much happens. It's just an excuse to get them from here to there so the story can continue. Every episode so far to me has felt like a filler episode to get the character from here to there without actually the plot moving anywhere in particular. And it's become a kind of monster of the week thing where he goes somewhere, meets a different race, helps them out, and then flies off. And the next week lands somewhere, meets a different race, helps them out. And it's slightly annoying me.
I think, and obviously I don't know this, but I think next week story, just because who's going into it, the character in the Star Wars lore, I think that's when you will see, if the Mandalorian finds them, I think that's where the story will properly kick in.
Okay.
Because, so in the episode 3, they come across some more Mandalorians who, as soon as I saw them, I was a bit like, I recognise you, but I can't think why. And it wasn't till the end, until the main Mandalorian said you need to find Ahsoka Tano, who was one of the main characters in the Clone Wars, and that's where I went, I recognise you now.
Okay.
So, and she was Anakin's Padawan.
Okay. I didn't realise I had to do so much research to watch TV.
But I think that's why
okay.
some people aren't enjoying it as much, is because they're not getting the as much fan service as others are.
I just want a story. I just need something to happen that's actually propelling a story, and I just feel like it's all filler and no.
That spider
substance,
scene though,
to be honest.
horrific.
The spider scene, and that reminded me of something straight out of Doctor Who from the 1970s. If you watch, there's a John Pertwee season of Doctor Who called Kingdom of the Spiders, and that's what that reminded me.
That was horrific.
Without ruining, do you mean when you say horrific? Well, the CGI is terrible.
No.
If you don't like spiders, it's horrific.
And I'm fine with spiders. Like I'm completely fine. But
worse than Harry Potter. That's the only other thing I think of. You know, with the spiders.
Yes, because
Massive.
obviously then it was, the CGI is not as good as it is now. It is. It is properly. It reminded me of Alien. That's what it reminded me of when they find the face huggers.
Yes. Yes. There was a lot of Alien.
Yeah.
You say that I didn't get the Star Wars references. I got the references to everything else. There were references to lots of different sci-fi movies and TV series in there.
Well, everyone does that with Star Wars, so it's only fair they do it to everybody else.
Well, okay.
I'm really enjoying it, but I can see why, as I was watching it, I was going, Duncan's not going to enjoy this.
I just want something to happen.
I think next week, or whenever the next one comes out.
Okay. So 12 episodes in and we'll actually get a story. That's
I've
good.
also watched the 3. I watched the 3 back to back.
Okay.
They're all weird lengths as well. First one was an hour, second one was 45, and then the last episode 3 was 39 minutes.
That's the joy of the streaming service. They don't
true.
have to fit into a specific time
fair
frame.
point.
But on the same subject, on the same day on a Friday, Star Trek Discovery, they release a new episode of that every week. And I have to say, if I had to pick one or the other, I would go with Star Trek Discovery.
See, that's another one that I didn't finish when it.
Just saying.
What series is that on now?
This is series 2.
Yeah, see, I struggled with series 1.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Well,
Maybe I need to try again. I'll try again.
Yeah, it's quite intelligent. Anyway, that's the Mandalorian, which is on Disney Plus. One episode every week. We're up to episode 3. Episode 4 will drop on Friday. Toby, we've not heard from you. You've been watching The Fall.
I have. This was recommended by my mum massively. She kept on going
Strange
on
name for your mother. My mum massively.
She kept
massively Stubbs. Nice to meet you, madam.
She kept going on and on about this. You'll love it. It's a psychological thriller, and I was like, okay, I'll sit down and give it a watch. And I'm halfway through season 1, and I'm not hooked. Maybe because she's hyped it up so much that I've expected a lot. I'm not saying I'm not enjoying it, but I'm not hooked. Some of the acting from the minor characters is not great. There's a scene, without ruining it, that involves so there's a family and the babysitter comes over and something happens, and the way she reacts to what happens is just so... I cringed because I was like, please don't say what I think you're going to say, and then she does, and I was like, that wouldn't happen ever, which really annoyed me. Yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna stick with it and see where it goes. It is quite messed up. The lead character is hasn't been explained why he's doing the things he is. He has a family, but he's going, but at night he's going out and doing things he shouldn't be doing. So I'm kind of I'm intrigued to see where it goes, but I'm not hooked as much as I thought I'd be.
Right. How are you watching that?
With his eyes.
On Netflix. On Netflix with my eyes.
Right, Netflix. You haven't actually mentioned, but for people who don't know what it is, of a nervous disposition, it is a creepy thing about a serial killer. So
yes, yeah. It is. It's a creepy serial killer. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but
cool.
Yeah.
That is The Fall, which is available on Netflix. And just to tie into that, also on Netflix and also starring Gillian Anderson, The Crown Season 4 dropped last night. Yesterday morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. Have either of you watched The Crown?
Yeah, bits. I've not watched a full series, but from what I've heard...
Toby, can I recommend you watch The Crown?
Yeah, you should watch it. It's very good.
You'll be hooked. It's very good. The first 3 seasons were really good. We're up to the 1980s now, so Mrs. Thatcher has just taken power. Charles has just met Diana, so we're into that kind of area. I've only watched the first 2 because it's so good, I don't want to binge it. So we're saving, we're going to do 1 episode every other day or something just to savour it because it is so good. Yes, someone's got their hand up.
Hello. I have a question / query for you.
Yes.
I have a question.
Oh, sorry.
I'll do it myself.
Okay, go on.
I have heard about this series. I've not watched any of it, but I have seen the trailers, and obviously your opinion matters the most to me.
Of course it does.
But I've heard that Gillian Anderson is the best on-screen Margaret Thatcher. Discuss.
I think Meryl Streep might have topped her slightly in The Iron Lady. She was very good, but she is very good as Margaret Thatcher. She's got the mannerisms down. She's got the walk down. Josh O'Connor, who plays Prince Charles as well, has got all the mannerisms. And I can't remember the girl's name who's playing Diana, but my other half kept sitting there, and every time she was on screen, he goes, "I can't believe how much she looks like Diana." She's got everything down, from the head tilt to the lilting voice to the hair. It's fantastic. But so the first episode it starts with him meeting Diana, but it also covers the assassination of Earl Mountbatten in Ireland.
Of course, yes.
Because we've got the IRA problems going as well. I mean, it is hugely lavish. It's probably one of the most expensive series that Netflix makes.
Yeah. I mean, they build a facade of Buckingham Palace for it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it looks like they're in all the real places where they're supposed to be, and obviously they're not. So most of the first 2 episodes are set in Balmoral, and obviously they're not actually at Balmoral, but you imagine they are. It is hugely entertaining. When it first came on 4 seasons ago, I thought this might be all right, but it's not going to be my cup of tea particularly. But honestly, once you start watching it, you can't stop. It's addictive. It really is. It's very good. And this is proving to be just as good as the first 3 seasons.
When they announced that Gillian Anderson was Margaret Thatcher, I was like, yes, that is brilliant casting.
And obviously we've got Olivia Colman is currently playing the Queen, who took over.
She said her favourite scenes in this season doing acting with Gillian. She said these are the best filmings I've done.
The scenes of the audiences between Thatcher and the Queen are very good. And for the final 2 seasons, the Queen is going to be played by, I cannot remember her name. And I should. She was in Harry Potter. She played.
Who did she play?
I can't remember her character's name either. She was a short woman who always wore pink in one of the.
I know who that is. I'm not thinking of her name.
Anyway, she'll be playing the Queen. Her.
She's going to play the Queen.
She will be playing the Queen. But anyway, it's well worth watching. All 4 seasons are currently on Netflix, available to watch now.
I'm surprised they've not done that weekly. I'm surprised it's an all drop one.
Netflix don't do anything weekly if it's their own productions. The only things they drop weekly. So the reason they're dropping Star Trek weekly is because it's not a Netflix series, and in America it's shown on CBS weekly. So yeah, I would prefer it if they dropped it weekly because I don't want to plough through them. I want to make it last. So yeah, so it's well worth watching.
Yeah.
That's The Crown. It's available on Netflix. Still to come, Ratchet and Spongebob SquarePants.
Love music, love talk, love Wycombe Sound.
On Wycombe Sound, Duncan, Tobi and Luke with you through until 8 o'clock. After the news at 8, Mr. Q will be here with The Country Show. Now, if you're watching live, which you can on YouTube or on Facebook, and you're wondering, why is Duncan sitting in front of SpongeBob SquarePants? That's because the new SpongeBob SquarePants movie, which was due out in cinemas last month, obviously couldn't go to cinemas, so it went straight to Netflix, which is good for people like us with Netflix. It's called Sponge on the Run. The plot is basically SpongeBob's beloved pet snail Gary is snail napped. He and Patrick embark on an epic adventure to the lost city of Atlantic City to bring Gary home. Right. First
Can we talk about this then?
First things first. I have never seen SpongeBob SquarePants.
Now, that was going to be my question.
How have you managed to dodge that?
Because he's old.
Because I'm old. I've never watched an episode of SpongeBob SquarePants.
Good.
I had no idea what it was about. I assumed it was just a cartoon aimed at little kids. So
Pretty
I went.
wacky, isn't it?
I had no idea. So I went into this with low expectations, thinking it's just a cartoon aimed at little kids. I'm not going to find this funny at all. I loved it. I laughed out loud through most of it. I thought it was clever, inventive. There's more imagination and invention in the first 5 minutes of this than there is in most other films. Luke's sitting there looking stony faced. I'm worried now. And I just thought it was very clever. I thought the voice cast, I don't know if these are the same people that do the voice in the TV series. You've got Keanu Reeves playing, what do you call it? The thing that
Sage, but he's
Sage, yeah. What's the things that go across in a western? They
my mind has gone blank today.
Dead plant thing.
Yeah.
Dead rolly plant thing.
Anyway, he's a sage who helps them on their journey. Matt Berry plays the head. Why are you laughing? He plays Poseidon, who is ruling the lost city of Atlantic City. and he's stolen Gary the snail because he uses snail slime to keep himself looking young, and he's run out of snail slime. So this is he snail naps Gary the snail. I thought it was hilarious.
You love this. You're smiling as you.
It just makes me happy to think about it. And now we go over to our misery correspondent in the corner.
I have a reason. I didn't love it, I'll be honest.
Ooh.
But because it's not as good as the TV show.
Oh, okay.
And that's why, if you think this is funny, you need to watch the TV programme. Because it is 10 times funnier.
Oh, okay.
The TV series is so much funnier. I actually got just slightly a bit bored halfway through just because the TV series is so much better. And I think also it took me a little, because you were going into it fresh, the animation wouldn't have bothered you at all. But they have slightly tweaked it, obviously, for cinema, higher budget and everything. So the animation is slightly different, and Spongebob looks a little bit different. It's a little bit more 3D, really. I liked the bit out of the sea, spoiler, but I thought it was a bit pointless, if I'm honest.
Yes, because there's a live action piece in a western town where Danny Trejo turns up as well as Keanu Reeves as a
when it finished,
thing is.
Yeah,
Tumbleweed.
Tumbleweed.
He's a tumbleweed. Yes.
But by the end of that scene, I was like, what was the point? Did they run out? Do they need to fill time or something?
Oh, okay. My worry is, I was going to say I'll watch TV series, but I imagine there's hundreds of episodes.
Thousands of series.
So I probably won't. I might dip into a couple of them, especially after watching this, because I thought this was hilarious.
If you think that is funny, then you need to watch.
Okay.
It's been going since 1999,
Okay.
so you've got quite a few series to catch up on. But I didn't enjoy the film, but I think that's because the series is more funny, and my other half, who we both watched it, was actually better. I agreed with it.
All right. Well,
I've seen the one before this, the film before, and I've seen the TV series over the years. I've seen the one before it, but again, it came out so long ago. I can't really remember.
No,
Okay.
if you think this is funny, Duncan, I do as well, but I think I didn't enjoy it as much because I enjoy the TV series.
Okay.
And that's funnier.
Well, that is SpongeBob SquarePants, Sponge on the Run, which is available on Netflix now.
Out of 10?
A good 8.
Good 8.
Ooh.
I'll give it.
Excuse me.
I'll give it a 6 or 7. No, he's coughing now. He's at least he's muted his microphone for once.
I muted my microphone where I coughed then.
Well
He needs
done.
to drink tea normally.
Yeah, come on. Where's your tea?
Anyway, enough of all this Excuse me, I don't know what's going on.
Hello, you're right. Have a drink. You got a drink?
I might have to go and get a drink.
Water for Duncan, please.
Enough of all this brand new stuff.
Okay.
People don't want to hear about
No,
brand
they
new
don't
stuff.
care
They
about
want to
that.
hear about stuff that we've talked about in the past.
Yeah.
And that's why Mr. Toby Stubbs is here, who's been watching 2 films that we've reviewed previously, but that's not going to stop him.
Well, hang on.
Game Night and 50-50. Toby, over to you.
Game Night, yes, we have talked about it before. 50-50, it's the first time I've ever seen it. I don't think we talked about it on the show. It came out.
Do you know what? I think it was before your time.
No,
was
it's
pre-Toby.
Yeah.
2012, I think this came out.
Oh, it was pre-Wycombe Sound.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, it came out years ago.
Okay.
Years ago. I'll start with that one because it's slightly lower tone.
Okay.
So it stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and he has back pain at the start, and he goes to get it checked out, and it's cancer. And it's quite a sad story about him going through. He's I think he's meant to be 27, so his late 20s kind of. And he gets cancer, and I think it really did kind of resonate with me. I think the film it made me definitely think about life and how you shouldn't take it for granted. And there's one scene in particular where he just says, I never got to say I love you to someone, and I never got to go to Canada, and I never got to do this, because he's basically only got a short amount of time. Basically the whole film is him and about the cancer, and he's going to have this operation, but there's a 50-50 chance he's going to make it out of this operation. So there's a big build up. I'm not going to spoil the end, but it's a really, really I just didn't expect it. Thought-provoking, thank you. But it really does make you think about life and how we do take things for granted, and how lucky we are. And it was weird to have Seth Rogen in a film that was quite serious.
Okay.
But it did work because he tried to, he played the best friend and he tried to kind of lift the mood and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think Seth Rogen did fit in well, considering what the film's about. So it is it is quite a sad film, but I do recommend that. That's 50/50 on Netflix. I came out about 8 years ago. I
2011. Nearly
10
years
years
ago.
ago.
9 years ago. We're not in 21 yet.
9 years ago, Duncan.
And very quickly then game night, because this will be the
very
third
quickly.
time we've done game night.
Game night. Watched it. Yeah, this is my second time. Jason Bateman, one of my favourite actors. Rachel McAdams. They're great with each other. They've got great chemistry on screen. It's just such a funny film. It's just such a funny film, it's silly, but I love it.
I might watch it next week, and then we
love
have to do it for a fourth time. No, I'm joking.
Have you never seen it?
No, I have, but I just did it for that.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
No. Well, I think
I
we're all
loved
in
it.
agreement. It's very funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Very
Very
funny
good.
indeed.
I
Good.
agree.
And that's on Netflix as well, yes?
Indeed, it is.
Yeah. Both on Netflix.
Netflix. Okay. Sticking with Netflix, we're not paid by them, honestly. Although if they want to pay
I mean,
us
if they
for
want to
doing it,
sponsor the show,
we're
then be my guest.
more than happy.
Yeah.
A new series which I've only just got round to watching is Ratchet. It's the new series from Ryan Murphy, who created Glee and American Horror Story and Hollywood, and he also wrote and directed the new version of The Boys in the Band. This stars Sarah Paulson, Finn Wittrock and Cynthia Nixon, and also Sharon Stone. It's set in 1947. Mildred Ratchet begins working as a nurse at a leading psychiatric hospital, but beneath her stylish exterior lurks a growing darkness. Because we find her brother. The season opens with a young man breaking into the home where a group of priests live. What's that called? A priestery? No, not a nunnery.
No, I was going to say nunnery.
Something wherever priests live, and violently murdering them. I mean, violently.
Oh,
murdering them.
yes.
It was on Gogglebox.
I've
You
seen
would
this
have
on
seen it.
Gogglebox, yes.
He gets taken to an insane asylum where he's locked in the basement. Mildred Ratchet wangles her way in to get a job into the insane asylum. It turns out that he's her brother. I'm only 3 episodes in, so obviously something's going to happen about that. Sharon Stone, as a woman whose son was treated by the doctor who runs the insane asylum, and for a long and complicated reason, the son now has no arms and no legs, and she is hiring assassins to try and kill the head doctor at the insane asylum, which is all very American Horror Story. If you've ever watched American Horror Story, this does feel like a season of American Horror Story. And if it was that, I would be quite enjoying it. Because it's very stylish, it's very well acted. He's bringing an older actress back and reviving her career. So he did it with Jessica Lange and Kathy Bates, both in American Horror Story.
Yep.
Here he's got Sharon Stone playing a part and vamping it up and being really good. So the production design is fantastic. The music's great. The acting's really good. My huge problem with it is that it's Mildred Ratchet, who is the second lead in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. She's the nurse in the mental institution that Jack Nicholson is taken to in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And this is supposed to be her backstory.
Oh, yes, that's right, yeah.
Which would be absolutely fine if One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was a horror film.
Yeah.
But it's not.
A lot of people have said this.
And if One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, she was some wicked person who's torturing the inmates. But she's not. She's the baddie in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but not for any specific reasons like that. So for something like this, you should be able to watch this and then watch the film that it was supposed to be leading up to, and it should all be quite seamless. A bit like Bates Motel. If you ever watched Bates Motel, you could watch Psycho after that, and you think, yeah, that kind of, I can see where they were going and why it was like that. This seems to have no connection to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest at all, apart from the fact they're using the name of the character Mildred Ratchet to sell it.
For once,
this would have been a lot easier. Sorry.
No, come on, finish.
This would have been a lot better if this had been the new season of American Horror Story.
Yeah.
They could have called it American Horror Story Hospital, and I would have been a lot happier with it.
You actually, for once, follow the lead of everybody else as well.
Oh, there you go.
It's first for everything.
First for everything, yeah. I mean, if you've never seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which you should have done, really, because it's a classic Oscar-winning film, you might enjoy it. And I am kind of enjoying it. It's just...
That's
not
annoying.
what it's not what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
And also, if you are thinking of watching it, you need a strong stomach.
Oh, I've
Because
seen the
some
clips
of-
from Gogglebox, and wow.
Oh, you've seen nothing.
No, I know, but just on those scenes.
Yes, it is gratuitous violence.
So it's an 18.
Yes, it is an 18.
It should be. It should be higher.
Yeah, if there would be higher, it
21.
could be higher. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but there are. I think there's 8 episodes, and I think it's getting a second season because it's done so well. But I would imagine a lot of people watching this have no idea what One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest probably is. Have either of you seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Back in the day, yeah.
Good. Okay, there you go. I'm done. Goodbye.
Goodbye, bye everybody. Let's go.
That's it. Lot to get through. We've still got actually a long way up. I'll quickly tell you about this because
Go on,
not many
go
people
for
are
it.
going to watch it because it's on Apple TV Plus. And let's face it,
No one has
who's
that.
got Apple TV Plus?
Exactly.
This is Ewan McGregor and Charlie Boorman. They're best friends. They did 2 seasons previously, Long Way Down and Long Way Round, where they went on various journeys on motorbikes. This time they're going from the tip of Argentina, Ushuaia, all the way to Los Angeles, which is 13,000 miles, and they decided they're going to do it on electric bikes. What's interesting is, unlike other celebrity travel programs where you just get the travel bit, we've only watched the first 2 episodes so far, and they've only just set off. The first episode is setting up the office in London, getting through how this program is made, how difficult it's going to be. Harley Davidson have made bikes especially for them. So they haven't finished making their electric bikes, so they've done it especially for them. And the crew that are following them are in Rivian vans, electric vans, and they're number 1 and number 2. They're not commercially available, and Rivian have made them available. Their worry was there weren't enough places to stop on the 13,000 miles, so Rivian are actually setting up 160 charging stations along the coast of South America to do it.
Just for this?
Just for this,
That's
yeah.
incredible.
So it's now it's getting interesting as well because they've started traveling and you're seeing the scenery. But the first episode and a half of them, of what goes into making something like this is absolutely fascinating and highly recommended.
Now, what I was going to say was Ewan McGregor was on Graham Norton a couple of weeks ago, and I before you had even said anything, this looked really good, and I'd love to have seen it. Apple, and now that you said it's got all of that stuff in it as well, that's high on my list. Maybe did Apple TV do a month trial?
Yes, I think they do.
I have to do that then.
Yes, I think they do a month's trial. But yes, it's well worth watching. The biggest shock for me was when the bikes are delivered to Ewan McGregor's house, which is up in the hills in Los Angeles. I expected a better house.
Really?
Although my other half probably said this is probably his second house.
Probably.
But-
It's just, they're not going to show the main one, are they?
Well, I don't know, because it's delivered there and he's there working on different bikes and stuff as well.
He's probably got many
it's fascinating.
houses.
He probably has, yeah. It's fascinating stuff.
He's
Well worth
Ewan
watching.
McGregor.
He's Ewan McGregor. He's got houses everywhere.
He is Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. Yeah, it's worth watching if you've got Apple TV Plus. But yes, I think actually I don't know if it's a month's trial or a week's trial.
Oh.
But if you sign up for a week trial, you can get through 8 episodes in a week. They're only 45-minute
Oh,
episodes.
okay, possibly then, yeah.
So it's worth
I was
watching.
going to make
Anyway,
a Star Wars reference, but you wouldn't have got it, so it's fine.
Yeah, good,
Yeah.
because I probably haven't watched Clone Wars cartoon series. so
No,
I
it
didn't
was
get
from the
that.
main Star Wars films.
Oh, okay.
Because you said he was on the hills, so I was going to say, as always, Ewan McGregor has the higher ground, but that would mean nothing.
It's quite interesting. They have to stop at a hotel in the middle of nowhere in Chile, and they open the hotel especially for them because they recognise him as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Brilliant. There you go.
And the guy can't speak any English, but he managed to say, "May the Force be with you."
Perfect.
So
See,
that's
Star Wars unites everybody.
Star Wars. There you go. That's it for this week. Thank you very
Ah.
much for listening. Thank you to Luke and Toby.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Duncan.
You're very welcome. We're back next week. Goodness knows what we'll be talking about. We'll find something. Oh, Toby will have watched one episode of The Crown. So there we go.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
Maybe more than one.
Or maybe more. Mr. Q's country show is up next, so stay tuned for that. Luke will be back tomorrow at 4:00 for drive time, and I'll be back on
breakfast.
Sunday for breakfast tomorrow as well. And I'll be back on breakfast on Sunday. But now, with the time at 8:00, it's time to go over to the Sky Newsroom for the latest national and international news.
National and international.